All right. There we go. That is what we needed to see all along. I do not know what happened. I do not know why sound wasn't working. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So let me repeat what I was saying. Oh, that sucks because we had so many people viewing. I hate that. Okay. So I'm going to pin a comment. Please, if you guys can donate this month, please donate. A friend of mine's child was diagnosed with leukemia this month, in the month of August, and they're really going through it. Her job terminated her employment, and all this, that, and the third. I really feel like my videos are being watched, by the way, because I received an email from her employer, which is an extremely big company. Um, if you guys did watch my lives earlier this week and you heard where I said that she was working, please do not put it in the comments because I really do feel like they're filtering my videos. I already know that I'm shadow banned. That just goes without saying. Um, there's no reason why this channel shouldn't have 100,000 subscribers at this point. I have videos that have surpassed 50,000 views. There's just, I've been shadow banned for a long time. It's because of the type of stuff I talk about. But anyways, I think it's really shitty that they're trying to silence my channel, especially since I'm just trying to help this baby who's been diagnosed with cancer. So if you have not been watching my lives this week, if you have, please do not put the company that my friend worked for, because I feel like every time they did reach out and email me, well, my manager, whatever, but I feel like that they're silencing my videos because I did put them on blast. They did fire my friend for missing work, but she was missing work to take her child to chemo. And literally, she sent me the screenshot. I will read you exactly what they sent her over text. Hold on. I seen she had texted me and hadn't replied. Sorry, Allison, if you see this. So this is a screenshot. This is from her boss. He says, "You've missed so much work here lately. I know what you're going through, but I'm sorry we need you here. Could you not just put him on a bus or something?" So let me get this straight, motherfucker. You want her to put a motherfucker. You want to put her on a bus. Put a 5-year-old child on a bus. You want her to put him on a bus. A 5-year-old child on a bus to go then get chemo in a hospital in another state. And then what? He's just supposed to catch a bus on his, he's 5. What an idiot. Anyways, a couple of days after he texted her that, they fired her because she took her son to chemo. Can I ask a question? Should I block this guy who says we can't send face photos, but we can send shirt pics? My gut is telling me to block him, and oh my God. So he won't show you his face? Is that what he's saying? Is that what you mean? Like, yeah, that's a catfish, 100%. There's literally no reason why someone shouldn't be showing you their face unless they're catfishing. 100%. Block him. Bye. Anyways, what I was trying to say in my last live, and I've been saying it every live this week. So if you have not watched, all donations to Morgan Shay channel on any platform, whether that be flowers on TikTok or filters on TikTok or stars on Facebook or Cash App, PayPal, anything, I'm donating to Braylon's cause. So, and it's going to go till the end of September, and I'm going to double it. So whatever you guys donate, I'm going to donate the same amount. Because they're working on one income. Insurance isn't really covering shit. They're still, I mean, they are, but they're still having to pay out of pocket $3,000 a week for his treatment, which is fucking crazy. Good. Block his ass. So I did pin my Cash App. That way YouTube can't keep any of it. I'm just trying to do all I can for this baby. Dolly, do you mind? She always wants to eat her pussy in her mouth. All the time. She always wants to eat her pussy right in front of me. And now she's going to try to come over here and lick on my face after you just licked your pussy for 30 minutes. Always listen to your advice. I'm not like a friend. I'm your guys' friend. I don't know what you guys think. We are friends. You can DM me anytime. You can email me. Hell, a lot of you guys have my own personal phone number. I'm not an influencer. I'm a regular bitch. I go to work. I pay bills. I do the same shit y'all are doing. I put my pants on one leg at a time. None of us are double legging that bitch. You know? We're all just out here trying to fucking make something of ourselves and do this life shit. You know? Here, Dolly. There's some egg and hash browns. The other thing that I was saying in my last live is that there is nobody to shout out from yesterday that cash apped or anything. But I will shout out everyone who does. Just know, if you support the Morgan Shay channel this month, you're helping a family who desperately needs it. So it's going to an extremely good cause. But beyond that, another thing that I have really been thinking about this week is Jaclyn Hill. So if you've been underneath the rock, then you may not know this, but John Hill passed away last week. Who is John Hill? John Hill is the ex-husband of Jaclyn Hill. Jaclyn Hill is an extremely famous YouTuber. She has an extremely huge makeup brand. It has been extremely successful. It did have some bumps along the way at the beginning, and none of us can lie and say it did not. If you literally want to sit here and say that our company has been sunshine, rainbows, and glitter farts from the beginning, then you are in denial, my friend, and you might want to exit that. Stage left. But like I've also said before, I ordered the entire collection of lipsticks. Every single one of them had hair and bubbles, and I still wore those bitches. They're still right over there on my vanity. They're the formula is incredible, and why she has not come out with them again, I will never understand. Probably trauma. Probably quite literally trauma. But John Hill was featured on her channel many times, and one of the most raw, emotional, deep videos on Jaclyn's channel to this day is a video with her and John, where they go more into depth about John's addiction issues and that he actually hid it from Jaclyn for a long time. So Jaclyn had no idea, which if you are not, a lot of hate comments underneath that video makes me so ill, because if you are not an addict or you've never struggled with addiction, how would you notice? How would you know? You wouldn't. So that, he was very open about the fact that he had hid that from Jaclyn for years, right? And a lot of you guys have wanted to know, what my thoughts are about the passing of John Hill and, so on and so forth. And I want to make this very clear. Did John lose his battle to addiction? You can look at that two different ways. You can either look at it through the lens of, well, ultimately drugs did take him. Or you can look at it as he doesn't have to worry about that fight anymore. If you've never struggled with waking up every day and the first thing on your mind when you wake up is, I need my fix now. If I don't get my fix right now, I am going to puke and shit at the same time, shiver to death, but also sweat, tremble. My skin is going to feel like it's on fire or it's going to fall off. Guys, addiction overcomes your mind, your body, your soul, and everyone around you is affected by your addiction. Regardless of whether you want to admit that or not, everyone who cares about you and actually fucks with you, they're being damaged in the meantime. So ultimately, our addiction can end one of three ways. This is the end road for anyone who is still in their addiction. It can end one of three ways, right? Jail, death, or recovery. Those are the only three options for us. That's it. And you don't know how long you've got. You don't know when your last fix is going to be. And even more now, you really don't know because they are cutting the drugs with so much shit. You would have no idea to know if something was in there that could kill you like that. You don't know until you do it. And if you're an addict and you're sick, of course you're going to do it. It's not even a question. But people who haven't struggled with addiction, they would be like, well, why would you even try? If the option could be death, why would you even try that? You aren't suffering with addiction. You would not understand. It doesn't make sense. There is no explanation for it aside from the fact that they are an addict. There is the option to get high, but there is also the risk for death. And they chose to not care about that. They chose that death doesn't matter to them. And for a lot of addicts, the only true way out of their addiction is death. Because, you can go to jail 100 times, whatever the case, but really and truly, the only peace from your addiction is death. Recovery has taught me a lot of things, right? It's a very interesting space, especially the first year. The first year is a very interesting time because essentially you're reintroducing yourself to yourself. For whatever reason or another, our traumas, our own anxieties or depression, we chose to start using drugs to escape our reality. We're either escaping our trauma, whether that be childhood or current. We are doing drugs to escape our depression. We are doing drugs to escape the anxieties, whether they be social or whether they be anything else. So when you start doing drugs, you immediately are entered into this euphoria. And depending on how you use drugs can depend on how quickly that euphoria comes. That is why intravenous drug use, there is no turning back. There is no turning back. You won't just try it once. That is quite literally the famous last words of a fool. Someone who says, oh, I can just try intravenous drug use once. No, you won't. It's unfortunate. There's probably one person out there who tried it once and never tried it again, but I've not met them. I've never heard of them. And as of right now, I sponsor around 12 people. The program, accounting all of the programs that I interact with, that's over 5,000 people. Not one of them picked up a needle and used it once. The euphoria with it is instant. It overcomes your entire body. And each step with drug use gets you to euphoria quicker and quicker. You swallow it, you're looking at an hour. You snort it, you're looking at about 30 minutes. You smoke it, you're looking at about 30 seconds. You inject it, it's instant. It's now, right now. This euphoria is what an addict will chase for the rest of their addiction, however long that addiction may be. They are quite literally not chasing the drug anymore. That's not what they're chasing anymore. If you have all of these traumas or all of this depression or anxiety or whatever the case may be, and you feel this euphoria and all of those things disappear. Why do I put disappear in air quotes? Is because it's not gone. We're in this like euphoric kind of trance where everything is smooth as far as the eye can see. Everything's gone. You don't have to worry about it anymore, or so you tell yourself. We no longer chase that drug. We're chasing that euphoric feeling. That's why a lot of addicts wouldn't necessarily have a DOC. If you don't know what that means, that's a drug of choice. A lot of addicts don't necessarily just have one. I didn't. My main two were heroin and Opanas, but I did every one you can think of. You name it, I've tried it. Promise you that. There ain't much that I ain't. And before some sicko asks if I have injected it up my ass, yes. People ask me that all. Yes. An addict will do whatever they can to get high. It does not matter. It does not matter. So I know what John was going through. I know what he was going through. And the bittersweet thing is that our stories are not all going to end with recovery. Unfortunately, over 75% of us, our story is going to end in death or jail. That's facts. That's facts. We're either going to end up in prison or dead. 75% or more. It changes every year. Every year it goes up. Every single year. Since fentanyl hit the map, it's almost doubled. Instead of people dying every 5 seconds, it's 2.5. Just last week, someone I know overdosed. Heroin cut with an extremely large amount of fentanyl. Their heart stopped like that the second they injected. So while it is sad, I know, to a lot of people, especially Jacqueline, she's never suffered with addiction. She loved someone who did, but she didn't go through it herself. So for her, she will never truly understand this. And if you don't struggle with addiction, you're not going to truly down deep understand this. But this was what was meant for John. This was the meaning for him. This was meant for it to end this way for him. Not all of us can handle sobriety. Not all of us can handle prison. Not all of us can handle death. However we're meant to end our addiction is what will be. You know that saying, what will be, will be? That's it. That's the saying. There's nothing after that. The fact of the matter is whatever your outcome is, you won. The only one that could potentially have hope for sobriety later is if you went to jail. But if you went to jail and got out, that's not your ending. That's not what took you away. Because you can still get out and recover, right? When I say jail, I mean prison. I mean, you did something to where you're gone 25 or more. There's still the opportunity for recovery, of course. But essentially, that's what took you from your family. That's what is going to take a large portion of your life is drugs or alcohol, whatever the case. So at the end of the day, I believe that this is what was best for John. And at the end of the day, I feel that his soul is at peace. John doesn't have to wake up tomorrow and worry about being dope sick, and John doesn't have to worry about chasing anymore. That is the biggest thing most of us addicts want. And I say want kind of 50-50 because you have to want it to get sober. If you yourself does not want it, and it's your kids or your mom or dad or whatever, the state parole office or whatever the case, whatever your situation is, if someone else wants your sobriety but you do not, you will not stay clean. You might stay clean for 4 years, but if you don't truly want it, relapse is always a possibility. We have to take it one day at a time. And I know that Jacqueline is going through this really hard time of especially losing a spouse. You go through this process of how am I supposed to live normally when I've lost this spouse? Especially when it's a spouse, family member, whatever, or friend that you've lost to addiction. Because a part of you is extremely grateful that they don't have to go through that pain anymore. But then that guilt kicks in of why am I rejoicing over this loss? You cannot look at it that way. You cannot paint that type of picture or that narrative. You're not at peace because they're dead. You're at peace because their addiction is dead. And they don't have to fight that fight anymore. That is what you're celebrating. That is the important thing to remember. This portion of this live is not just about Jacqueline and John, right? This is about any person who might be able to relate, whether it's you who's going through their addiction or your brother, sister, wife, husband, cousin, whatever. And you've lost them and you're asking yourself, how can I be feeling kind of like a sigh of relief, like, oh, like I can breathe now. The monkey's off my back. I'm not losing sleep anymore because I know that so-and-so is at peace. They don't have to fight that fight anymore. Don't feel guilty for their victory story. Because at the end of the day, that was their victory. They don't have to fight that fight anymore. And always remember that the universe knows what they're doing. It might not all make sense right now, but there was a reason that the universe knew that that was what needed to happen for John. That's what needed to happen for my family member last week. That's what needed to happen for my family member who overdosed a year ago. That's what needed to happen for all of the friends that I've had that's overdosed. Over a dozen people that I've either went to school with or known as an adult has overdosed. It's an epidemic. So, of course, there's going to be a large portion of people whose addiction ends in a passing, in a death. The important thing to remember is the good memories that you have with that person, and to also know that they are at peace. They are not fighting that fight anymore. And though it might be very hard for you to understand and relate to that right now, especially if it's been very recent, it might be really hard for you to come to terms with them not being here anymore. But eventually it will start to make sense to you, hopefully. And what I can recommend is to go to Al-Anon meetings. They are very good for people who, even if you have a person who is still in their active addiction that's still alive, you can still go to those meetings. They are very good for relatives, spouses, and friends of people in their active addiction. And you can also, there are a lot of Al-Anon meetings for deceased loved ones as well. So it's a support group to kind of help you see that this was the victory for them. This is how their story was supposed to end. It was their victory. It's the only way that they would actually be able to win this fight. So you can actually go to, you can go to many different sites. You can probably just Google Al-Anon meetings near me. But I know for a fact that you can go to na.com or na.org. When we pass, our souls are just at peace. At least that's what I feel. Yes, absolutely. So no matter how you look at it, whether you look at it through the lens of God or whether you look at it through the lens of how I do, I'm more of a spiritual person. I believe that there is a reasoning behind everything. Even if it's not clear to us right now, there is a reason that things happen the way that they do. Um, I'm also a realist. So, and I've been down that road, that treacherous, exhausting road. And so I know that his soul is at peace. There is no monkey on the back. There is no chase. There is no fear. There is no more trauma. There is no more anxiety or depression. There are no more tears. You're at peace. You don't have to worry about that anymore. So try to look at it from that way. Also, don't leave people hate comments if they give condolences to someone passing away. I've seen so many people giving Trisha Paytas death threats and hate comments because she gave condolences to Jacqueline. You guys, come on. Don't be that person to give somebody shit because they gave condolences to someone that they knew in real life, not someone we don't even know, John, the way that Trisha or Jacqueline knew him. They knew that man in life, you know? So don't shit on someone for being respectful. That's literally you saying that John doesn't deserve that condolence, and that's fucked. Right? If you dislike someone on the internet, that's fine, but when it comes to a passing, that makes you look tacky. That doesn't make the person who gave condolences look tacky. That makes you look tacky. You know, have some respect. You know, I know common sense isn't so common, but you know, a good cry sesh isn't a bad thing, Jake. We all need to cry sometimes. I just want to help people understand who haven't been through addiction or recovery with someone, help them understand the way an addict would look at that. You know, and a lot of us addicts pray for death through our addiction. Um, myself very much included, because it's just this battle within ourselves. You know, we can't we we tell ourselves we want it. We think that we want to get sober, but we really don't. We don't really even put in the effort. And so you know, well, God, just take me away. I'd rather die than have to deal with this. But we really aren't putting in any type of effort, and we really and truly really didn't want it. Because if you really want to get sober, you'll make it happen. I promise you. I promise you. If you really truly 100% want it, you will not stop until you win. By the way, if any of you guys are needing to find some type of sober living house, or if you don't have insurance and you're trying to find a rehab that is free, you can always feel free to email me. Let me know what state and city you're looking to be in. Now, keep in mind that a city might not work. It may be in the state that you're in, but I might not be able to find a place that's in your exact city. But I know I'll be able to find one in your state. So if you guys are ever needing something like that and that's what's stopping you from getting clean, you can always feel free to reach out to me at questions4shay@gmail.com. It's the number 4. Always feel free to email me and ask. I have a lot of connections, especially in the Southeast. So, but I can find you a sober living home, halfway house, free rehab or regular rehab that I would recommend. Now, I will say this. Everybody's journey is different. Okay. So what worked for me may not work for you. What worked for that person might not work. Everybody's journey is different. So the only rehabs that I'm going to recommend for you are open paths. So open path rehab means that whatever works for you. So if you have tried Say you have tried complete sobriety before, meaning no drinking, no marijuana, no drugs, right? And you just can't manage to stay clean that way. It might be because you have some form of anxiety or depression or pain that needs to be managed. Open path may mean that you might need to be prescribed marijuana. Um, it also might mean that you need to be on some form of Subutex Suboxone temporarily and wean yourself off. For example, my recovery journey involves Subutex. So I decided to cold turkey myself in 2016. Um, it was right after Easter weekend. I went to my mom's and started detoxing cold turkey. The night that I went to my mom's, I had done 7 points of heroin. If you don't know how much that is, it's a fuck ton. Okay. I was fucked off my rocker all the way up until the middle of the next day. Around 3:30 the next day, I started to get tightness in my knees and my elbows, and it felt like my eyeballs were going to explode. That's when your pupils start to, you know, go from dilation and down. It does it like over and over, and it causes your head to feel like it's about to explode. I was having those types of symptoms. And then that night's when I got the cold sweats and the chills. And the next day, my blood pressure was so high, I was shaking so bad. My mom got scared and called a doctor to come to our house, to her house. And so the doctor came and said, "You're going to have a heart attack and die if you do not take some type of Suboxone Subutex." He wanted to give me methadone. For me, it's not for me. I just know too many people who have stayed addicted to it for way too long. So, in my personal opinion, I would never recommend that. But if that's your journey, that's your journey. You do what is best for you between you and your doctor. Don't let anyone tell you that what you're fucking doing is not your recovery pathway because the fuck. Because the fuck. Yes, it is. So I said, I do not want that. I know way too many people who just end up replacing their one addiction with that. I don't want that journey. Um, so he gave me a week's worth of Subutex. I took 3 and then flushed the rest down the toilet. And I took it the way that it was prescribed. So he prescribed me to take 2 a day. So that first day I took the first one, I still was withdrawing really bad. So about 3 hours later, my mom made me take another one. And I still withdrawed really bad. Like my cold sweats were still there. I felt like my pupils were going to dilate, but my legs and my elbows stopped hurting. Um, and then I took one the next day and never took one again. I ended up flushing them down the toilet about 4 months later. Forgot I even had them. They were in a bag. And when me and Chris moved in together, I found them and flushed them down the toilet. So my recommendation, if you do take anything like Suboxone Subutex, is to take it the way it's prescribed. Okay, number one. And number two, be sure that you are attending meetings. Be sure that you are doing everything that you're supposed to do. And the end goal should be to be able to be 100% clean. However, I do know people that is just not their journey. Their journey is to be on Suboxone Subutex for the foreseeable future. However long it is, that is your journey and that is your choice. But do not go into your recovery journey feeling like I need to be on something because that might not be what's best for you. What's best for you is what keeps you from relapse. What keeps you from relapse is your journey. For me, it was cold turkey and 3 Subutex. That's what it was for me. But everybody's different. So don't let anybody tell you that your journey is not rightfully done. It is whatever it is for you. So anyways, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. It's time to wake Chris up if you can't hear his alarm in the background. Again, if you would like to support my channel this month, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. I'm going to do a giveaway for everyone who donates to Braylon's cause. Again, he's a little 5-year-old boy who's been diagnosed with leukemia. So if you would like to support Braylon or his family with their travels and his treatments, any donations that go to my channel from now until the end of September is going to go directly to Braylon's cause. And at the end of the month, I'm going to double it. So my Cash App is pinned in the comments. It's MorganShay33 if you would like to support. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here until the very next time. Bye.